Before the crowds heard his voice, Elijah stood alone beside a drying brook, with nothing but wind in the trees and ravens carrying his daily bread. God had sent him there, not to punish him, but to prepare him. Hidden from kings, applause, and every familiar comfort, Elijah learned what could only be learned in silence: how to trust provision he could not control, and how to obey before he understood the next step. Then the brook dried up. Even the place God had led him to was no longer enough. But the silence had not been abandonment. It had been training. When the water disappeared, God sent Elijah to a widow in Zarephath, where one small jar of flour became the beginning of a miracle, and one hidden prophet became the voice that confronted a nation. Your quiet season may feel like a closed door, but sometimes it is a sacred room. God may be removing the noise, deepening your roots, and teaching you to recognize His voice before He places you in front of your assignment. Isolation is not always rejection. Sometimes it is preparation with the lights turned low. So keep growing in the unseen place. Keep trusting when the brook runs dry. As 1 Peter 5:6 reminds us, God lifts His people in due time. The season that feels like being forgotten may be the very season that makes you ready to be remembered. Before the house wakes, a single lamp burns above the kitchen table. A parent sits in the quiet, staring at unpaid bills, an unanswered message, and a decision that feels too heavy to carry alone. For a moment, fear reaches for the steering wheel. Then comes a different response: folded hands, a lowered voice, and a simple prayer. Not because the problem has disappeared, but because the burden no longer belongs to one heart. Parents and spouses carry invisible weight every day, protecting a marriage, guiding children, managing finances, planning a future no one can fully see. And when life demands immediate answers, it is easy to trust our own strength first and seek God only when everything begins to crack. But prayer is not surrender to weakness. It is surrender to wisdom. It says, "God, I cannot see tomorrow, but you already stand there." Philippians 4:6 gives the invitation clearly. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Then, in the middle of uncertainty, something changes. The circumstances may remain, but panic loses its throne. Peace enters quietly. Wisdom begins to rise. So before the call, before the decision, before fear writes the ending, pray. Choose prayer over panic, faith over worry, and trust over fear. Prayer is not the last door we knock on. It is the first place we stand.
At the end of a long day, a tired person can carry a whole storm into a quiet room. One sharp word becomes another. One wound finds a new place to land. And before anyone understands what happened, pain has crossed the table. But the same heart can carry something different. Jesus said in Luke 6:45, "For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of." Peace gives peace. Love gives love. Kindness finds a way out, even through ordinary hands. You do not need wealth to bless someone. A smile can interrupt loneliness. Encouragement can steady a collapsing spirit. A prayer can become the small light someone follows through the dark. So before asking, "Why did they treat me that way?" pause long enough to ask, "What am I carrying into this moment?" Because what enters the heart eventually searches for a voice, a gesture, a reaction. Guard it. Fill it with what you hope to give. And if all you have today is a little kindness, place it in God's hands. He has a history of multiplying what seems too small. What you carry inside may become someone else's reason to keep going.